Greetings to the participants. I'm very happy to be participating in this meeting, albeit virtually. I'll be talking about the gender dimensions of hate speech based on on our work and the work of our partners, as well as on research around the world. Women encounter forms of violence that are unique to their gender in the workplace, in public spaces, and on the internet. To take the example of women journalists, they are bullied, cyberstalked, publicly shamed, and subjected to hate speech for being women, for being journalists, and sometimes for being women journalists. This is a conclusion that was reached by WACC's partner, the Association of Women in Media in Kenya, following media monitoring research on tweets and comments by online audiences about 2 years ago. The media content studied spanned a continuum of violence from harassment of individual women to hate or attacks of women as a group. Communication is characterized as hate when it attacks an entire group just because the members share a common characteristic, in this case, gender, and call for acts of violence against the group. To borrow a definition, hate speech is public expression that attacks a person or group based on a common identity, such as gender, ethnic origin, race, disability, and sexuality. This definition indicates a line between hate speech and abusive speech. Hate speech is any form of expression through which speakers intend to vilify, to humiliate, or incite hatred against a group or a class of persons. The problem of hate speech is not new, but is a growing concern around the world. According to Article 19 in a report issued last year comparing 6 EU countries, these were Austria, Germany, Hungary, Italy, Poland, and the UK, the increase in incidences of hate speech in Europe has been accompanied by a rise in hate crimes. The analysis attributed the rise of hate speech in Europe to the global economic crisis, compounded by the increase in migrants and refugees, and of course the Eurosceptic rhetoric. In February this year, Microsoft released its third Digital Civility Index covering 22 countries, including Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, and the UK. 17% of respondents reported having experienced online hate. And in the first week of the study, just 3 years ago, 16% of respondents had experienced online hate. Gendered hate speech occurs when women and gender minorities are targeted in sexist and misogynist comments. Particular groups of women are more likely to be targeted, especially when they are also part of racial, ethnic, sexual, religious, and other minorities. Sexist hate speech has been described as being profoundly disempowering. It undermines women's voices and silences women. By spreading and reinforcing views of women as legitimate objects of hostility, hate speech also contributes to other forms of gender-based harm. Such attitudes have also been connected to family violence in some jurisdictions. Hate speech prevents women from democratic participation in public spaces. Hate speech can be seen as reinforcing strict gender norms, particularly when women step outside traditional roles and enter male-dominated spaces, such as the world of journalism, which the GMMP has found is still predominantly male. Research indicates that the reality of hate speech is gendered. In North America, for example, the research and evidence shows that women, girls, sexual and gender minorities are disproportionately targeted by online hate. Sexist hate speech is also rampant in Europe. A 2015 survey of youth found that women are one of the top 3 target groups of hate speech. Yet, while hate speech laws exist in many jurisdictions, gendered hate speech is not covered despite the harm it causes. To quote the Council of Europe, legal responses to hate speech are generally gender neutral, often missing the severe implications of the harsh reality of misogyny and digital gendered violence and abuse can have on women's participation in the democratic discourse taking place online. In view of the growing concern about hate speech, revisions to the methodology and data collection instruments for the 2020 edition of the Global Media Monitoring Project will consider introducing a new indicator to measure sexist online hate speech and to carry out cross-regional comparisons. This is evidence that would be helpful to support advocacy for the recognition of the gender dimension in hate speech policy and legislation globally and across countries. Thank you.